everybody, and welcome. You ever want to know what essential oils are good for children and how to use them safely? Well, today we're going to talk about 5 essential oils that are suggested to be used for children. And when I say children, I mean ages 0 to 11 years of age. And if you're new here, I'm Danny of Natural Ally D. I am an aromatherapist and a social worker. I enjoy sharing things related to enhancing your overall quality of life and well-being. So, I was watching a video by a beautiful couple, and the video channel is called Maze Lee, and I'll leave a link in the description. The couple has 7 beautiful children. The mother is expecting their 8th. And in the beginning of this video, this mother is using eucalyptus globulus in a bath with her 2 children under the age of 10. Well, me being an aromatherapist, I said, let me check, this essential oil that she's using without a carrier. And with me, safety is key. And eucalyptus globulus is not one of the essential oils that is recommended for children under the age of 10 years of age, right? Or expecting mothers. So today I want to share with you 5 essential oils that could be used for children ages 0 to 11. First is lavender. Second is rose. Third is neroli. Fourth is frankincense. And 5th is Roman chamomile. And I'm going to share with you more details about one of these essential oils. Stay tuned to the end of this, and you'll see a detailed presentation about a particular essential oil can be used for children. And when you're using essential oils in a bath, you want to make sure that you use a carrier. And if you know with me, safety is always key. So in a bath, you would use 4 ounces of dead sea salt. You would fill the jar halfway up, and you would also add 24 drops of essential oil to this. Shake, right? 50 times. Open it back up, add more dead sea salt, and shake again. And from here, you could use 1 ounce of this 4-ounce jar, for example, in a bath. And you want to make sure that you mix it very well. So because essential oils may have a tendency to rise to the top, and when they're not mixed well, so I would suggest that you pour the dead sea salts with the essential oils under the running water and swish very well. So now I'm going to give you a detailed description of one of the essential oils I mentioned, and I thank you for watching. Bye-bye now. Do you love the smell of roses? Well, today we're going to talk about rose essential oil. And if you haven't seen my video already about the 5 gentlest essential oils for children, I'm going to leave a link to that in this video, in the description or somewhere above. And welcome. If you haven't been here before, I'm Danny of Natural Ally D. I am a social worker and an aromatherapist, and I talk about things related to enhancing our overall quality of life and well-being. So welcome. So getting back to rose and this beautiful flower in this bouquet, if you love roses in all different colors, you don't realize how all of our plants and things in nature get to be where they are an essential oil. Well, this beauty takes the cake when it comes to making. So today I want to talk about rose essential oil and its benefits, okay? So rose essential oil. We're going to start with a little bit of history. So the word rose comes from the Greek word rhodin, which translates to red. The original rose is thought to have been crimson in color. The rose and rose oils have been revered before the beginning of the Roman Empire. The rose was used as garlands in scented baths, perfumes, and for grand public events. Now, rose are grown in and cultivated and picked at dawn, and the yellow-brown oil from the rose, they use something called an inflorescence within 24 hours, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And basically what they do is they take the rose petals and they put them in between sheets of fat, and then from there the fat absorbs the oils from the rose, and they add alcohol to get something called an absolute. Okay, so I'll leave a link in the description for a video that may go into more depth, but if you get the idea of what I'm saying, it's involved in making rose essential oil. So much so that rose essential oil is extremely rare. The pure rose essential oil is rare. And because it's so valuable, it's usually diluted by 10% when it's sold. Okay? And you say, well, why is it diluted? Well, because it's the process to get the essential oil. Did you know that it takes 10 tons? Is it 10 tons? I want to make sure I'm saying that correctly. It takes a ton of oil, a ton of roses to make one. It takes 5 tons, pardon me, 5 tons of this flower, these petals, okay, to produce 2 pounds of rose oil. 2 pounds. So 1 pound is 16 ounces, 2 pounds is 32 ounces, and in 1 pound it's roughly 453 milliliters. That's just in 1 pound. So because it's so expensive, you might find it more or less in bottles of this size, which is a 10 milliliter bottle. So having said that, if 1 pound produces 453 milliliters, then it would take oh my goodness, about 2.5 tons, if we did that by half, to make 45 of these little bottles. Could you imagine? 2.5 tons, roughly. Oh, that's a lot of petals, okay? So, the rose essential oil. So I'm going to share some therapeutic properties of rose. Rose essential oil therapeutic properties are known to be antibacterial, antidepressant, antifungal, anti-inflammatory, antiviral, it's known to be antispasmodic, okay, and astringent. Cephalic, which means it stimulates and clears the mind. It's known to be chlorretic. I'll spell that, CHOLERETIC. I probably more or less put a subtitle here, but stimulates bile production. It's known to be citrussant, meaning it promotes wound and scar healing. It's known to be depurative, meaning it cleanses and purifies the blood and intestinal organs. It's known to be a minagogy, which means it regulates menstruation. It's known to be hepatic, which means it's supportive to the liver. It's known also to be a sedative, which means it tranquilizes activity of a body part. And lastly, it's known to be a tonic, okay? Tonic for the heart, stomach, liver, and the uterus, which means it strengthens and fortifies. So some of these are the major known properties for rose essential oil, okay? Now the body systems rose work with our nervous, circulatory, reproductive, digestive, immune, and integumentary system, or also known as the skin, okay? So some key emotions that are suggested to help evolve or bring into your life or enhance in your life are unconditional love, treasured, forgiveness, embraced, and inspired. So these are some suggestions perhaps of these particular emotions or things to bring into your life or help to evolve in your life. It's not an exact science, but based on my research and that it is suggested perhaps that this could potentially be. Okay? So we went through the properties. We know the body systems that the essential oil has an affinity towards to help or aid, some key emotions or feelings that this essential oil can help to evolve in your life or bring into your life. So now on to our safety. And with all things essential oils, if you've seen any of my videos, you know that essential safety is always key, and essential is always key with me regarding essential oils. So our safety notes read, it's non-toxic, non-irritating, and non-sensitizing. It's non-phototoxic, and it's gentle enough for newborns. So if you've seen my first video where I talk about aromatherapy and children, I list rose as one of the 5 essential oils that could be used for children. Also at the end of that video, it also talks about ways to use essential oils, those 5 listed. And so I also put that information at the end of this video. That information is good for rose essential oil as well. I think I give an example of Roman chamomile, but listing all 5 in the beginning of this video, the demonstration at the end is good for all the essential oils mentioned, all 5, okay? So, as we have noted about rose essential oil, it is definitely a beautiful and revered plant and flower, and you don't realize how precious our plants are and what they give us and what they add to our lives as far as essential oils. Or if you are aware, what do you know about essential oils or rose essential oil? Have you used rose essential oil? I would love to hear testimonies in regards to that. If there's more information you would like to know about rose essential oil or any other essential oil, we'll see about getting that information to you. So I thank you for watching. Stay tuned. We're going to share with you the demonstrations after this. And again, the information in there is for rose essential oil as well. Take care. So welcome back. So now we're going to create the applications that were mentioned in the presentation. So at the top of the video, before the presentation, I introduced to you bath salts, where you would use bath salts such as this in a container, and I demonstrated that for you. You can use a glass container where, again, you will be filling up halfway with dead sea salts, adding 24 drops of essential oil to this, and then shaking 50 times. Take the top back off, like so. Fill all the way up to the shoulder, as we call it, of the jar, and add more Dead Sea salt, put the top back on, and shake 50 times more. You would use 1 ounce of this 4-ounce jar in a bath. And when you use it in a bath, you want to make sure that you put it up under the running water so it dissolves effectively and completely as much as possible, because essential oils have a tendency to rise to the top. So we want to mix it very well, okay? So if you're using this in a bath for yourself or for a child, then certainly use this apparatus or way of using in a bath, okay? Now, for the 24 drops, it's for children. It's recommended that you don't use more than 16 drops for infants. So 16 drops for infants and 24 drops for children. Of course, an adult could use the 24 drops as well. Okay, so that's the first application, using with Dead Sea salts, and or you can use powdered milk, whatever your preference is. I prefer Dead Sea salts personally. Okay, you can use a glass jar like this. You can use a dark glass jar, which is probably more preferable, but you're going to keep these applications, the ones that can be kept in the refrigerator, because with any applications with essential oils in it or essential oils themselves, you want to keep them in a cool, dark place. Okay, so this is one way. You can also use a colored jar, a dark colored jar such as this dark green or an amber color or dark blue color, and you want to also keep this in the refrigerator. Recommended to keep it in the refrigerator, maybe a refrigerator you have or space designated just for that, so you know children don't get into it, you know, thinking that it's something else to be eaten. But anywhere cool and dark, maybe a basement if you have it, or a storage area, but definitely a cool, dark place. But you can use plastic, but recommended it be PET or BPA free plastic, because essential oils can have a tendency to eat away at the plastic. So I highly recommend glass, but if you use plastic, please get a dark colored, dark jar. Okay? Alright, so next, so first is a bath application. Next, it was mentioned that you can use essential oil through inhalation, right? So one of the first ways you can use through inhalation or through smell is a diffuser. And for those of you who are not familiar with a diffuser, it can look like an apparatus like this, where it'll come with the top you can take off, use with water. There are some diffusers that you only add essential oil to. I recommend the ones with the water just for the misting effect, and it's not as concentrated. Okay, and these diffusers come in all sorts of different shapes, but typically something like this, where you take off a top or a bottom, add water to it. Okay, and like this one, it has a fill line. You would fill up to the fill line on the diffuser, and you would add 10 to 12 drops. You would diffuse no more than 15-minute intervals every 2 hours. And when you have a diffuser in a room, place it furthest away from you. Meaning if you're sitting here, put it at the furthest point of the room away from you, if at all possible. It's definitely recommended so that you're not necessarily sitting on top of it if you're in the room or whatever you're doing, or children in the room or pets. Definitely place the diffuser furthest away from where you will be sitting or spending most of the time. Okay, so that's one way, diffusing. Next, through inhalation or through smell, is a spritzer. And if you're not familiar with a spritzer or a mister, this is a sample one, which is a dark blue bottle, like I was mentioning about the plastic for the bath salts. You want a dark colored bottle. this comes like in dark blue, amber color, the two colors of choice. And in a 1 ounce spritzer bottle, okay, you would add, let's see, 14 drops of essential oil to a spritzer bottle. You would fill halfway up with filtered or distilled water. Put the 14 drops in, put the top back on. It looks like this when you take it off. Put the top back on, shake 50 times. Open it back up, fill back up to what we call the shoulder again, and put the top back on and shake at this point. And then shake every time you plan to use this, because oil and water typically don't mix or stay mixed together, and they'll separate. So you want to shake it every time. And you use it something similar to like an air freshener or what have you. Being mindful not to spray it in your face or the face of a child, or if you have, in the area with anyone or a pet for that matter. And you would simply spritz. Just spritz, okay? Making sure not to get near the face or the eyes or anything like that, okay? So that's the second way of in the air. Another way of using essential oils through inhalation or through smell is through a sniff stick. If you're not familiar with a sniff stick, it looks something similar to what you would purchase in a drugstore, like a Vicks stick or what have you. And here's a sample one. Usually comes in about, say, 4 pieces. You have your wick, you have the part that the wick goes into, and that has holes at the top, okay? And then you put this part, and this is the top to it, put this top, and it has a bottom, so it doesn't fall out, like so. And what you would do with this wick is add essential oil to the wick. So for example, I have a small sample of Roman chamomile, small sample bottle of Roman chamomile, and I would add 10 drops to this wick, okay? And once I've done so, I would put the end where the essential oil is into the sniff stick. Put the backing on it that it comes with it, and put it on like so. And to use, you just simply inhale. That's it. Inhale. So this for adults, you inhale. Now if you're using this for children, not necessarily for infants, but just say for instance an older child, a middle school age child, you just want to give them that aromatherapy. If you choose this method, then I would definitely supervise them while they're doing this, and just to make sure that they understand that that's it. So supervision with children. We don't want them putting them in the nose, or any younger children in the ear or what have you, and definitely keep this out of the way of smaller children, okay? And so this is another way, a sniff stick or essential oil inhaler, as you might hear it be called, okay? All right, so that's another way of inhalation or through smell, okay? Another way of smell would be to put the essential oil, 1 drop of it, in your hand. I'm not recommending this for adults. I know we're talking about children here, but definitely for adults. Just 1 drop on your hand. Rub your hands together and smell. That's it. Smell. And obviously, if you were needing to touch your face, you would wash your hands first. Not recommended this application for children per se, because they're going to touch their face. Inevitably, they are going to touch their face, and trying to tell them, don't touch your face, you got essential oils, it's best not to use. But for this demonstration, I wanted to show you the different ways that you can use them, and the ways that you can share with children to use as appropriate. Okay? All right. So that's another way of inhalation, on your hands. Another way of inhalation or in the air may be to put it on a pillowcase, meaning that you put it on a piece of tissue. You add 1 drop to a piece of tissue and put it up under, you have your pillowcase, and just put it right up under your pillowcase. You only need 1 drop. That part I would recommend for adults as well, okay? And you can also use, let's see, yes, definitely on a tissue. So we've learned about these ways of inhalation, or through the air. We've seen a diffuser. We've demonstrated a mister, a sniff stick such as this, and rubbing your hands, which I recommend only for adults, and also a piece of tissue, 1 drop on a piece of tissue up under your pillowcase for adults. Okay? Lastly, another way to use essential oils is topically, right? So, topically, there are a couple of ways to use essential oils. For example, you can make an application like a massage oil, if you will, in a 1-ounce flip top bottle. It's a flip top bottle. You see this bottle is a dark amber color. You would add halfway with a carrier oil. I like jojoba oil. It's the color of it. You can use grapeseed oil or any other sort of carrier oil of your choice. And I just prefer jojoba because it has properties similar to a layer of our skin. Okay? So with jojoba oil, I'll add halfway this bottle, for example, 1-ounce bottle, and I will add my essential oil drops to this bottle as well. And so for a 1-ounce bottle, we're adding no more than 16 drops for adults, no more than 6 drops for children, and no more than 4 drops for infants. Okay? And I'll put a link in the description for this dilution chart. Again, that's no more than 16 drops for adults, no more than 6 drops for children, and no more than 4 drops for infants. Okay? And you're adding halfway. You're adding the drops of essential oil, putting the top back on, shaking 50 times. Open the top back up. Add more jojoba or whatever carrier oil you choose up to the shoulder, not to fill all the way to the top, only to the shoulder, and you want to have room to shake. Put the top back on and shake 50 times. It's a good idea just to shake every time you're using a apparatus or something, so to make sure the oils are still mixed together. Okay? So that's for this, and you simply, use it on your skin, just as a rub, a massage area, like your arms or your feet. For adults, Roman chamomile is known to be an anti-inflammatory and antispasmodic, for example. So you can actually use this on areas of your body. For women, I would not recommend that you put it anywhere near your breasts or under your arms or any open pores. So you can use use it like a massage oil. And if you haven't heard about this, this is a side note, but for infants, for example, there is a discipline known as infant mental health, and in infant mental health, these practitioners or clinicians, if you will, are taught about infant massage, okay? How to massage a baby, what are the benefits of massaging. There's also information on the internet, but I would definitely look into, if you're planning to use this use essential oils or massage oils or application for your infant or child, for that matter, older child, look into online for infant massage or child massage, just to see recommendations on how to apply them to children. It is a beautiful experience to see how it's recommended, to introduce massaging to infants, okay? So that's another way of application for us to use as adults and children. So we learned about in a bath, and we learned about topically. There's one more application with topically I need to add, is a roller bottle. You can use a roller bottle in order to apply essential oils. So a roller bottle such as this is another dark bottle. You would fill it halfway. Again, for example, it's a carrier oil of choice. Halfway with jojoba oil. Add your drops to this 10 milliliter roller bottle. So in a 10 milliliter roller bottle, for adults, it's 5 drops. For children, 2 drops. And for infants, 1 drop. And again, I'll put a link in the description for the dilution charts, the things that I'm mentioning here. Just simply click on the link, and it will allow you opportunity to select it as a download. Just simply enter the 0 in there to get it for free. You can immediately download, and I think it also sends it to your email as well. So again, I'll leave a link in the description for the dilution chart, so you remember the number of drops for what application you are planning to use it for if you choose. Okay, so in a 10 milliliter bottle, you would simply do the same. Let's see, take the top off. Oh, here we go. Fill it halfway with the number of drops, as I mentioned. 5 for adults, 2 for children, and 1 for infants. And if you're going to use, if you want to use this for yourself and children, in any of the applications that I mentioned here, that the number of drops are different, use separate bottles and label them. Have a label on your bottle so that you know exactly what number of drops. I would recommend putting what's in it rather. Jojoba, Roman chamomile, for example, and a number 5 drops. That way you know. And maybe you want to put adult, or maybe you want to put children for somebody else who comes along, who might not be familiar of exactly what it is. But definitely label your product or your bottles. Something similar to this, like a gold label. It could be, they have label makers where you can make different things, but I would definitely label. So label your bottles, so for adults and children. So going back to this, you would fill halfway with jojoba, add your drops, put the top on, shake again, open it back up, fill it up to the shoulder, not over, because when you put this on, it'll spill over. So only fill it up to the shoulder, put the cap back on, and you're ready to roll. So in order to use this application, what you can do is use it on the foot. And why you say, why the foot? Well, we know that from anatomy or science class, or that all the nerve endings in our body are in our foot, from our body are in our foot. So you can use essential oils for it to go through your body, and understanding that essential oils are known typically to go through your body in less than 20 minutes. You know, if it's absorbed properly, okay? And the way you would do that, I'm going to demonstrate on my handy dandy bear. So you would simply, like if this is a big toe, simply roll down. That's it. So on your big toe, adults, roll down. For children, roll down. For infants, it may be a little different, but definitely check into infant massage. And they may also have more additional information of what they want, what they recommend for children as far as massaging is concerned. Okay? So, we have learned about inhalation, we have learned about in a bath, and we have learned about topically how to apply essential oils. And if there are any questions that you may have about this essential oil or its application, certainly leave a comment. I would love to know if you've used Roman chamomile, if you don't mind sharing, and what was your experience with it. And if there are any additional essential oils perhaps that you would like to learn about, if you could also put that in the comments, that would be truly appreciated. I hope this information was beneficial for you. And again, to reiterate, with these applications, safety is always key. I recommend that you store any and all these applications with the oils or the salts in a cool, dark place in a refrigerator if you can. You know, if you have children, that might not be as advantageous if them thinking that there's something else when it's not. But a cool, dark place, because essential oils exposed to light or can oxidize, which breaks down the essential oil. So that's why we want to be mindful. And always safety, safety, safety. You know that with me is always key. So again, I hope this information was beneficial for you. If there's any additional information you would like to learn about this essential oil, or Roman chamomile essential oil, or any essential oil, and the applications that you can use with the essential oils that were mentioned today to use with children, then certainly leave a comment below. I thank you for watching, and as always, it's my pleasure to serve you. God bless you. I love you. Until next time, bye-bye.